Rosie. The catfish finally came in. I think storm's moving in, cold front again. We'll get these in the pond and let that water equalize in temperature. In the meantime, we'll throw some of these cedar limbs in. These new boots are supposed to be waterproof. I guess we'll find out. Well, I think it's been about long enough. I think it's time to release them. We got some more brush over in this side. I actually would like to put some more cedars on the other side, just kind of dotting the bank every so often. Probably, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 more spots down that way. These cedar branches will give them some cover so that the bass and the crappie don't come in and they eat them, and that way they have a place to get away from the larger fish. Let's go ahead and let them out. There are 100 channel cat in here, and if you've ever caught a catfish, channel cat specifically, they have these little barbs on them, on their fins, and they will poke you. See if I can catch one and show you guys. See if I can do this without him coming off. Got these little barbs on the top, this top dorsal fin, and then on the side, and it hurts pretty bad when they poke you. That is a baby channel cat. You can see the spots on him. He's about ready to wriggle out. We'll let him go. They spread out pretty quick. You got some that are digging in the mud up here. You got some that are burying underneath these cedars. Some of them are at my feet. They just dispersed really fast. Those should grow in this pond really well. The kids are excited to fish for them. I don't know that they'll be big enough this summer, but definitely next summer. You can see them muddying up this water here, digging in all through here, all up in the cedars. I really honestly enjoy catfish. I like catching them. I like eating them. I know some people say that they're a little strong tasting, but I really like that fishy taste to me. Grew up going down to Florida as a kid and kind of developed a knack for that seafood taste, I guess you could say. I think I'm gonna try to find a good catfish food. That way the kids can go out there in the summertime and feed them. It might be fun for them, and also allow them to put on a little bit more weight. Fish convert feed to muscle mass really efficiently. It's really cool to see how fast they actually grow. I want to count up all these holes that we dug to try to get an accurate measurement on how many linear feet we actually need of this pipe. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The wind picked up today. It's been like 55-mile-an-hour wind gusts with 30-mile-an-hour sustained wind. It makes it really difficult to do anything in wind like that. 12, 13, 20, 21, 22, 24, 1, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 39 counted up so far. All the H braces are going to be the same size, so I'm counting how many posts and how many H braces just total. 43, 44, 45. I've got 3 posts in there, so that makes 48, 49, 50, 51, 52. to the other property and see how many we have over there. 76, 77, 80, 81, a lot of posts. Got 93, 94, 95. Look who's coming up the driveway. Got a little bit of a surprise. Let's go finish counting these posts and then we'll meet him up top. Okay, so we got somewhere around 121, if I didn't miscount, posts and braces combined. Now let's head up and I'll show you a surprise. So my daughter turns 12 years old this Saturday, and there's something that she has always wanted since our last farm. We had something on our last farm that she really enjoyed, but she was really young, and I told her that she couldn't get another one until she was old enough to take care of it. And I think she's old enough. Meet Rosie. Rosie is pretty old. She's in her late 30s, but she is really broke. She comes from a good friend of ours who used her for their grandkids, and she is a really good, gentle horse. My daughter's ridden before, but she really doesn't have too much skill, so she really needs something that's really broke. So she is going to be perfect for it. She's got a really thick winter coat right now. She's got a really pretty black dun mark on the back end of her. I don't know if you can see it, but really pretty red horse. And I think Rosie is a good name for her. She'll get ridden out here quite a bit, that's for sure. This wind does not seem to bother her at all. Our last horse, whenever it was windy like this, he was unrideable and really unapproachable. He just got spooked real easy. But with her, she doesn't mind. Really calm and gentle horse. Need some water, Rosie? Let's go get you some. Need to grab the chainsaw out and do some cutting. Sit. Ready? Ready? Go get it. Come here, boy. It's still pretty windy out today. I think it's supposed to be better tomorrow, though. Yeah, we still got some gas in there. Looks like our oil's good too. We got 4 hay bales left. I think that's enough. We should get that fence done in time so that they can have green grass. The horse has a full bale to herself. I think we're about to the end of the firewood situation. They've got plenty of hay right now. They have been starting to lose their coat. I shouldn't say they, it's just been Coyote. He's starting to get a little clumpy. The rest of them have their winter coat really thick. Coyote, underneath that winter coat, it looks like it's really dark for this summer. I forgot we had this from last year. Maybe we won't have to cut any wood today after all. If you're saying to yourself that those are really odd pieces of wood and they're cut really small, you're right. We had a wedding out here, right there actually, and this was all full of people last June, and all the end tables and all the centerpieces were used for the wedding, but now they're firewood. It's nice being able to have a good heat source just in your woods, and just the labor that's involved is what you end up paying. Well, we've got a project today that involves this roll of wire. This thing weighs a ton, almost literally. I'm not sure how we're gonna get this out of here. I should have moved it when I had the skid steer, but I was not thinking. So I gotta figure that out. Most everything is cleaned out of this barn from my neighbors. There's still some odds and ends left from some of these guys that haven't picked up their auction stuff, and then the remaining he's just gonna get rid of. There's a pile there that somebody hasn't picked up, but it's looking a lot better, and we're getting really close to start setting it up as our shop. Cold out this morning, so the truck's idling a little high. Got the choke stuck on. Well, I had another chain in here. Maybe it's buried underneath the logs. Can't see it, but there's one. We better move these windows aside in case that thing rolls. Okay, let's see what happens. Well, that was uneventful. I think I might run a chain through the middle if I can fit it, and then see if we can roll it out that way. First, I need to pull this chain out from under it. We'll do that first. Now let's see if she rolls out. Like a big wrecking ball. Once you get it start to roll, it wants to just go. You got to reposition it here and start rolling it to the other side, because we want to unroll the wire across the field. I'll tell you why we're doing this in a little bit. But first, we're gonna take a break for a little while. My daughter, my oldest daughter, she turns 12 years old today. And one of the things that she has been wanting to do for a while is to take jiu-jitsu class. So on her 12th birthday, we're taking her out to do jiu-jitsu. So I'll be back. Well, that was fun. I think they enjoyed themselves. We took all the kids out there and they all wrestled around for a little while and learned some new things. We're gonna head over here and work on this wire now, see if we can unravel this. Yes, I know, I don't have my seatbelt on. The goal is to take that wire roll, and this fuse box is on the other side of this barn right here. We're gonna try to tap into this line and then run across that field. Believe it or not, we have not been on the grid for the last 5 years. The house and everything has been off the grid. We run batteries and solar system. But since we purchased this property and this has grid power so close, we're going to hook into this. That way we can use grid power. It's a little bit cheaper when it comes to like upscaling your electricity. Grid power is really, really expensive, believe it or not. It's nice, it's a nice concept. I always wanted to be off grid, and we did it for 5 years, but it's not all what it's cracked up to be, honestly. So we're gonna hook this up and then we'll have grid power over there, and we'll be able to switch off and on to off-grid power if we need also.
What are you doing there, Wooly?
The trick is to be able to pull this while it's unrolling. It would be nice to be able to put a rod through the middle of it, lift it up, and it would roll a lot better, but I don't have that luxury. So we're gonna see if we can hang on to one end of this over here, see if I can figure out a way to clamp it or roll over it maybe with one of the vehicles. I might do that. Roll over this end and hang on to it there, and then maybe unroll it out the field that way. What you doing there, Rosie? Huh? Think she wants to get out and ride. My kids are gonna take her out a little later today, get her some exercise. We need to pull both of these fences out of the way so that we can run this wire just straight across the field, and then we'll come back through and trench it. This fence is again gonna get redone at some point, probably maybe this fall or next winter. This tractor should be heavy enough. We'll hook one end of that wire either onto the tractor, or we'll drive over that wire and then we'll reel that wire out that way. It is a beautiful day out today. It's almost even hot. The wind is really calm, really nice out. A far cry from what it has been, cold and windy. I'm hoping that'll hold it good enough. If that's not good enough, then we'll have to feed it through something to get it to hold a little bit better. Let's see though. Came unhooked. It was rolling really good until it came unhooked. Well, this is working so far. Just taking it nice and slow. It's unrolling really nicely. Once we get it all unrolled, then I'll hook on to one side or the other and we'll stretch it to whatever length we need, and then we'll cut it off. We're gonna roll this out 3 times across the field. Well, my brother-in-laws came over and ended up giving me a hand on running those wires, so the wires are run. We ran the wires and we just put them into the electrical box just to see if everything was going to work, and everything looks good right now. So now that everything looks good, we're going to come back and run those wires into conduit, and then we're going to come on the outside of this barn and trench it all the way down that field. So that was kind of a big thing that we were a little nervous on. I was nervous to make sure that we had enough wire. The wire was large enough to run that distance. Trenching that line and running all the conduit, that won't be too bad, I don't think. At least we've got it all tested and all the power looks good. It's a little bit of a cold day today, but you can still see these bees coming in and out of this bee box. Philip said he has not been able to get a hold of the guy who owns that. He called him once and he said he wanted him, but then after that he never showed up and he hasn't been able to get a hold of him. So I'm hoping that they get left, because that will be a good head start for us. I'm actually going to be working on building some traps for bees, some swarm traps they call it. So that's going to be fun, and you guys will be able to see that. That mineral tub we tried last year, they really didn't do much to it. I don't think it's really worth it for us to do it again. They just really haven't touched it at all, but at least we tried, right? Coyote is starting to lose his winter coat already. He's starting to get a little patchy. The rest of them still have their winter coat, and it's really thick. Coyote still has his, it's just starting to get patchy. Black Feather, last year, she was the last one to lose her winter coat, and I'm curious to see if this year is the same. Picking at any green grass they can get. It's windy again today, but we've got an inside project in that barn over there. So these are honeybee frames. This is what will go inside of that swarm trap. There's 5 per trap. We need to measure off this frame, and that will tell us the dimensions of our trap. So the outside is 19 inches, and the inside is going to be 17 3/4. The height on it is 6 1/4, and we're going to leave a little bit of a spacing in the bottom of it. We're going to go to 10 inches. That is supposed to leave enough room that the bees can go in there and feel comfortable and move around. So we've got the 2 side walls done on both the traps. Now we need to work on the face, which needs to be the distance between all 5 of these frames is 7 inches plus the plywood. The plywood is just under 1/2 inch. This is just stuff I had laying around, scraps, so that's why I don't know what it was offhand. Just under 1/2 inch. So if we go, just to give it a little bit of wiggle room, maybe we'll go to like 7 3/4 or 8 inch front and back. Now we just need to cut them at 10 inches on the other side. Here is the mock-up of the front and the back. The bottom needs to be 8 inches wide by, we're going to tack those on the outside, so we'll measure those together. Okay, now for the lid. The lid is going to be a little bit bigger, and then we're going to have a lip on both sides of it. To make the bottom exactly the same size, that was 8 inches wide by 20 1/4, so we need to go a little bit bigger than that. So we'll use these pieces as a template for the excess, and that would be 8 inches there. Now the final thing we need to do is just cut the lip for around that lid. So we'll do one first and see how it goes, and then we'll do the next one. I think my glue got frozen and it's a little thick. I think we're gonna have to do without the glue for today. That's not working. Let's see what this looks like. I think that's gonna work out good. We need to build out some ledges in order for this to catch. But then all 5 of them should fit directly across, and then if you can see down in there, there is some gap, some spacing, just kind of gives them some room to breathe basically. So we still need to do the top, and then we need to do those ledges, and we need to cut a hole in it obviously. But first I need to go run an errand, and it's probably going to be either tonight or tomorrow before I get back to this. So for me, it's gonna be a few hours or maybe even a day, but for you guys, it's gonna happen right now. See, just like that. Okay, now we need to cut this edge, and I think we're gonna double up some of that plywood along this edge so that the frames sit nice and snug along there. I think we need to cut it at 7 1/8, and they need to be recessed into this a little bit. We need to measure from the top of that frame. We'll just make a mark, that'll be easiest. We need to come down with the holders on those frames about 3/4 of an inch. Okay, we need to build the top now. This should be fairly simple. That fits on there really nicely. Pretty snug. It might be actually a little too snug, but I think for a trap, it's not going to be taken off and on all the time. This will work good. Those fit in there really well. The only thing we need now, we need a hole for the bees to get in. So let's drill that hole now. Okay, now they can at least get in. Let's put all this together, and then we have one more. One down, one to go. Two swarm traps done. So if I haven't explained this already, basically what happens with honeybees is sometime in the spring, not always, but sometimes, they will drive out an old queen in the hive, and they will push her out, and they will bring on a new queen. And when they push that new queen out, some of that hive will swarm with that new queen, and they're looking for a new place to live. So the idea is to have an enticing box or new place to live for them, and then you take all those bees and you put it into a big box or multiple boxes. The key to this, from what I hear, I've never raised bees before, but I have friends and relatives who do, is to get this box the right size, put it in the right location, and use this. This is a lemongrass essential oil. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a few drops by the opening, and then we're gonna put a couple drops on the inside, and the scout bees really love the smell of this. So they will come out, they'll smell this, basically go back to the hive, tell them there's a new place to live, and hopefully when they swarm, they'll swarm into one of these boxes. That's the theory. So let's put this on here, and let's go ahead and head out into that dark hole and put these up in some trees. They say it doesn't take much. A buddy of mine said to take a cotton swab and rub it around that opening, and then just drop the cotton swab on the inside. I couldn't find a cotton swab, so just figured dropping that on there should be good enough. We will see. One thing's for sure is that lemongrass oil actually smells really good. It's really strong. I gotta be honest, I can't remember what they said as far as height goes. I got a friend of mine, he raises quite a few bees. He's got like 30 to 40 hives. So I'm gonna ask him tomorrow. It's a little too late to ask him today, but Wolf hears me out in the field and he's getting a little protective. He can't see me. But anyway, I'm gonna set it right here. It's basically somewhere around 5 foot. And then tomorrow I'll ask him if it needs to go higher. If it does, I'll check the trap. If there's nothing in it, we'll go higher and go from there. I think I heard that they might need to be somewhere around 12 foot, but then I also heard it could be just within arm's reach. So we'll find out later, but we'll put it on here right now. Well, I had to put it a little lower in the tree, the way the tree was. Some guys use ratchet straps, and other people were saying to screw it to the tree. My buddy said to screw it to the tree, but I didn't really have a good way to connect it, so I used ratchet straps. I'm going to try the other one using ratchet straps too. Let's hook the other one up and then let's call it a night. Well, I think this tree will work. Let's try to hook it there. Well, I think that's gonna hold. Pretty sturdy. Smells strong of lemon extract. I think I'm gonna take my buddy's advice next time and screw it to the tree. I will just have to make this box a little bit different next time. So unless it needs to go up or down, we will leave it here for a couple months. It would probably be best to put tin along that top. That way this lasts a little bit longer, but this is really just kind of an experiment box for me. I've never made one of these, so I'm excited to see if we can actually catch honeybees. So thank you guys for watching. We appreciate you guys' support. If you guys are interested in joining our Patreon, there's a link in the description below or at the end of every video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.